the
Okay.
TV up right here. I can see it a little bit. Yeah, so I am monitoring it also.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the game last night, and then we'll get to these announcements as soon as they become available. I thought Drapes last night was a classic example of how basketball, your offense, your defense go hand in hand. The Kings really struggled defensively, which they just do. We know that. So the best way to beat a zone is to beat the zone down the floor. When you can't get stops, you got to take the ball out of the net. The other team, they're able to get pressure on your backcourt and set up their zone. So I thought the Kings' poor defense made it a lot harder for them offensively to attack that zone last night.
No, you're right about that. You got to get some transition buckets before it
Yeah.
sets up. That
Yeah.
zone sets up. I saw you tweeted that out also. They did have 22 fast break points, which is
Yeah.
a lot. But you're
Mm-hmm.
right about that. I would let me look at the second half numbers because I would venture that number went way down in the second half. They had 8 fast break points in the second half. So there you go. 14 in the first half, 8 in the second half. Miami, I mentioned earlier, shot close to 53% in that second half. And it's just, you're right. If you're not getting stops, it's hard to run. And if it's hard to run, it's hard to beat that zone before it gets set up.
Do you think it's realistic to think that via trade or by any other measures, the Kings can significantly improve their defense? Because I just think, given the nature of the league right now, I mean, you got to work on it, but I don't know how realistic that is.
I think when you look at, what makes a great defensive team, I think you need positional length. And, as they're naming the All Stars right now, Kawhi Leonard, you need positional length. You look at the Celtics, the way their wingspans are bigger than most. And so who's that guy out there, that can help you shrink the floor? I don't know if you can address that right now. I don't think, I go back to that, conversation I had with Ron Adams, to succeed in the NBA, you need two-way players, high-level two-way players, and those guys just don't grow on trees. I think every team in the NBA is looking for more defensive help, especially in today's day and age of all this scoring. And so I think it's going to be tough to fix with just one guy.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and as we'll discuss with Matt Barnes, and as we discussed yesterday, whenever it was, everybody in the NBA right now, virtually every team is struggling defensively because people are just scoring points in bunches. I think you're a little bit ahead of us, Kyle, with the announcements. Looks like, Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis.
Anthony
So
Davis.
far?
Yep, that's what I got. Yep, that's what I got so far. And
all right,
that's an interesting one because Anthony Davis in that front court spot, to me, that's competition for Domantas Sabonis to make it. Kenny DeSmith is announcing another All-Star right now. And so you got Kawhi, Anthony Davis, and Devin Booker. Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. So that's 3 of the 7 that they're going to announce here tonight so far.
By the way, it's really unfortunate that tonight you got the Celtics and the Lakers, and you got no LeBron and you got no Anthony Davis. So that kind of takes some of the air out of that balloon, doesn't it, for tonight?
Yeah, and then look at the second matchup as well. You got Philadelphia and Utah, no Joel Embiid. And so if you're Adam Silver, this is your marquee night. You're naming all these All-Stars, and you got 3 guys who won't play tonight. 3, MVP level players that won't play tonight. Anthony Edwards just named an All-Star also. So that's 4 of the 7. We got 3 spots left. Remember, they're going to do 2 guards, 3 front court guys, and then 2 wild card picks as well. And here's the thing, too, real quick. You still got a week or so, a couple of weeks before All-Star weekend. Last year, De'Aaron Fox, if I'm correct, got in because of injury. And so just because it may not be named tonight, it doesn't necessarily mean, those guys won't be asked at some point over the next couple of weeks.
And by the way, to the point you made about so many players not playing tonight, and which is very unfortunate, Anthony Davis and LeBron, this is not load management, right? These guys, according to reports, they're legitimately injured, as we know Joel Embiid is as well.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys were questionable coming in. And then, aren't able to go as Steph Curry makes an All-Star. And we knew Steph was going to make it. You and I, as much as I think De'Aaron deserves it more than Steph, we knew, I mean, it's Steph Curry. We knew he was going to make it. So that's 5 guys. Here we go. Shaq is about to, I think, announce it here. Paul George. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man.
All right. So one spot left. Kawhi, Anthony
One
Davis,
spot
Devin
left.
Booker, Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, Paul George are the 6 reserves so far. Will a King crack the roster for the All-Stars?
Oh, man, we're watching this live just like everybody else, bringing you, I think it comes down to, somebody from Minnesota. I think, whether it's Towns or Gobert or Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, I think it's going to be one of those guys. Ernie Johnson is set to do the honors right here, and he's pausing, dramatic pause going on right now. And here we go.
In the final All-Star.
Did he say Karl Anthony Towns?
Let's see.
Wow, Karl Anthony, we got robbed.
Cat.
Unbelievable. I told you this, Whitey, last week. Karl Anthony Towns makes it over Domantas. Unbelievable. That our guy Domantas Sabonis did not get named. And what is so upsetting about this is that this is the coaches doing the picking.
Yes.
This isn't the media. This isn't fans. This is the coaches who are supposed to know the game. All those guys are having great seasons. I don't want to take away from anybody. Karl Anthony Towns, I said it last week, he's having a great season. But Domantas Sabonis leads the NBA in double-doubles, second behind Jokic in triple-doubles. And for him to not get an all-star nod, to me, that is disrespectful. Unbelievable. The Lakers got 2 all-stars, and they're at 500. The Warriors got an all-star. Winning obviously does not matter when it comes to all-star teams. Unbelievable. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I think Minnesota got a little bit of the benefit of whatever it was that led to the Kings getting 2 last year. That new kid on the block, like, Minnesota's a great story. It's funny because Anthony Edwards was asked last night, I guess, about the All-Stars. He said, I don't care. I just hope that Rudy Gobert makes it. Well, Rudy Gobert didn't make it. Cat getting the nod. Would you have been a little more comfortable with it if Rudy Gobert had gotten it over Cat?
No, because I think Cat's had a tremendous season. Like, I don't begrudge Karl Anthony Towns from getting there. He's had a tremendous year. I just think my guy Domantas Sabonis should have been over somebody, over Paul George, maybe in over a second Minnesota guy. It's over Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis playing tremendous, fantastic. He's a beast. He's legit. But so is
Charles
Domantas
Barkley.
Sabonis.
I'm sorry, pardon me. Charles Barkley, his own picks. He had Fox and Sabonis. Kenny had Fox. I think Ernie Johnson also had Sabonis making the team, for what that's worth, their own personal selections. But we'll see. As you say, I mean, looking at this, it's hard to know for sure, but things can still happen. There's a very good chance that at least 1 or 2 or maybe even more spots open up between now and the All-Star game. So maybe the Kings still have a chance, but I'm glad that they get some rest, but it is disappointing because it doesn't seem just. It's wrong. The Kings got snubbed.
Right. And here's the thing. We mentioned it. Domas is having better numbers, a better year than he did last year when he was an all-star. And so I get it. Minnesota's playing well, best team in the Western Conference. I get it. But man, I'm shocked. And this is the problem I have. And I mentioned this earlier regarding the coaches. Are they really watching? Are they really paying it? And I know the West coaches vote for the Western Conference, East coaches vote for the Eastern Conference. But when you think of all-star, you think De'Aaron Fox when it comes to Sacramento, like best player. And so I wonder if they thought, all right, we'll put in De'Aaron Fox, but then you got Steph Curry, you got Devin Booker, you got Anthony Edwards. I don't know. For Sacramento not to get anybody, and they're having a pretty decent season, the top 6 season, you got 3 guys. Let me see. Hold on. 3 guys that are below you in the standings who got in. You got Anthony Davis and LeBron, obviously. Steph Curry is below you. I don't know. I'm disgusted right now.
Emma Drock points out, he says, D Fox and Sabonis were picked by Kinney and Barkley. Campio says Shaq had Sabonis, but I'm with Eli McFly on the YouTube chat. Says All-Star game is a distraction. We need to rest up over the break, get that mindset ready for the second half. I said earlier, Kyle, that I wouldn't be too upset if the Kings didn't get it because there's a lot of upside there. It feels wrong, but so what? Sabonis and Fox, assuming they don't get in the injury, they will have their revenge on the NBA in the second half of this season.
Exactly. Motivation. You talked about it earlier. Chip on the shoulder. Let's go. I'm excited. Yeah. All right. At least our guys won't be there. And then now Domas and De'Aaron, they can spend time with their family, their young children, and go to a beach somewhere and relax. I'm happy for them.